and regular listeners from around the world. This is Red Ice Radio, and my name is Henrik Palmgren, and I hope you are doing well. Our website is redicecreations.com. There you can find radio, TV shows, video interviews, webcasts, music, audio commentary, films, news, and much more. The majority of all we do is for free, but we do have a whole lot of material available in our member section as well, for those of you who are hungry for even more and want to go deeper into the subjects that we cover. George Kavassilas joins us from Australia today to discuss his journey, work, and message in these interesting times that we are in. He's had an incredible range of experiences, including traveling up through the dimensions of our universe back in 2003 and rediscovering what life here on the planet is all about. We discuss the Ascension process, harmonics, the human experience, basically what it all is about, and how we are in the middle of a transitional period right now, witnessing the rise of a new human being. His website is simply georgekavassilas.org. His last name is spelled Kavassilas, georgekavassilas.org. Stay tuned for 2 very interesting hours. Hi, George. Welcome to Red Ice Radio. It's wonderful to have you with us here today. Thank you for taking the time to be with us all the way from Oz, Australia.
Thank you, Henrik. I must say it's an absolute honour to be invited onto your show. Thank you very much.
We've had a lot of our listeners from around the world that have requested that we invite you to the program, so I'm really glad that we're able to bring you on today and to be able to merge together here and talk with you for a while. So this is going to be really exciting, I think, as well. But why don't we, I guess, set a little bit of the outline here first. I think that's appropriate, George. Maybe you can tell us about some of the experiences that you've been having since 2003. We might have some listeners with us who are not familiar with your work or some of the things that you've been talking about for a while now, George.
Yeah, sure. From a very young age, I have been experiencing interactions with beings from other dimensional realities and other worlds. And so I was being taken on board ships, even from the furthest my memory goes back was about to the age of 5. And these continued throughout my youth. And they kind of really affected me at school too, because I'd be going up in these ships at night and then trying to stay awake at school was really difficult. I fell asleep in class on a regular basis, so that was a challenge for me. It affected me in that way and many other ways, of course. And also later on in life, it continued, like this theme began emerging, and the theme has to do with these beings that wanted to actually prevent me from expressing myself, which I found it, and that's a very generalized concept of what's been happening throughout my life, and I found that fascinating. And then later on in life, I had some really, in recent times, like in 2003, had an amazing experience where I journeyed up through the dimensions of the universe, and I did not do it willingly from the personality of George. It was something that was orchestrated by a much greater aspect of my being. And that journey just really was amazing.
What do you think when you were, I guess, I don't know if you would classify these accounts as kind of abduction scenarios, but do you feel that this was the classical aliens in that sense, or was this more of a non-physical, spiritual abduction taking place, do you think?
Okay, no, there was both going on, and there was malevolent beings which were working against my greater intentions of life, my journey here on this planet. And there was also some benevolent beings too, which I interacted with, which the interactions were just fantastic, like really incredible beings. And the knowledge and the wisdom I experienced from these beings was just amazing. So it was, I had both, and the theme became quite prevalent later on in life. And the classic alien grey, yes, I did experience those on many occasions and had some very awful experiences with these beings. But I also met a species of grey which was basically once a human form and chose the path of technology and ended up morphing into the current form that they have. And they're the ones, the original strain of greys, they're the ones that say, please don't choose this path of technology because you will end up like us. Like they used to say, look at me, look at me, look what I've become. And they've become so detached from that organic, essential connection to life that they had returned and warned us, the human race, not to venture down this path of technology. But unfortunately, some other types of grey races caught wind of that and used it to their advantages here.
Now, do you agree with, I guess, in one sense, the classical theory that they're actually here to, for their own benefit in that sense, to actually try to heal or repair some of these damages that they've done through them, to themselves, through actually, harvesting human DNA and actually doing experimentation on human beings?
Well, they did very few. The overwhelming majority of the experimentations on human beings came from the negative grey races. And so the ones that came here did not come, the ones that came to warn us not to choose the path of technology did not come from a future timeline. They were a human race who chose the path of technology and are roughly about 1 million years in evolution ahead of our current state. And that is, if you choose a path of technology, technology does everything for you. Therefore, all your body parts atrophy. And really the physical condition they found themselves in is very unfortunate, very sad. And it is a very desperate time for this race to find their way back to the organic essence of life.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear about these two different sides that seem to be kind of struggling over humanity in one sense right now. At least we hear that from a lot of the different abductees around the world. But if we go beyond that paradigm for a little bit and just talk a little bit more about this experience you had in 2003, what do you think enabled you to have this experience? And would you compare it to anything else that you've heard from some other people from around the world?
I have had people share with me some of their cosmic experiences, but I haven't heard one yet, and I'm sure there are people that probably have had them, that have gone to the extent that I have travelled. And I'm not saying that out of ego, so I hope people don't judge me that way. It really came down to the point of my greater being had previously organised prior to my incarnation that at that point in time in my life, members of what I call my galactic family, so I'm talking about a fourth dimensional extraterrestrial galactic family. And that's not where I originally come from, of course, because we are infinite and we exist on many levels. But there's that aspect of myself that came from that domain. And they came and they actually picked me up. And they were members of, because I actually originate, there's so much running through information.
Sure.
So just to give it a quick background, the majority of the energetic stream of this current incarnation that I have comes from the blue star of Sirius. Not from a planet revolving around the star, but the star itself. And the star is actually a planet on a higher level, but because its frequency is higher, from down in these lower domains of the universe, we view it as a entity of light, as a body of light. And so that's where I actually, the majority of me comes from. I have a part of me that comes from the Pleiades as well. So if you were to ask me which star system I come from, I would say the Sirius. And we all come from the stars, so I'm not anything unique or different from anybody else. So we all come from out there, and we've all incarnated here from out there. So what happened was my galactic family came and picked me up, and they took me to a much larger craft, which was closer towards the Sirius system, and placed me on this the reuniting of my family was just magic. Because when these beings turned up, the knowing instantly is there. And it's not like you see a lot of the channelers and a lot of the New Age sort of experiences that people are having where beings come and they smother them with love and they go, oh, I'm your family and I'm this and I'm that. It was nothing like that. It was like when your mother walks into the room or your brother walks in the room or your wife walks into the room, you know instantly who that is. No one has to prove anything to anybody. No one has to tell anybody who they are. It's just the knowing is there. And that's the difference. of the beings of who are your true family and beings that are here to actually try and deceive you. And so they took me to this very large craft and placed me on this really comfortable chair. It was shaped a bit like a dentist chair or a therapy chair, for want of a better term. That was the shape of it. It was very plush, and there were many races in the ship, and there was a lot of celebration and joy. And there was no technology involved in this, but what they did was they were able to sustain the life force of my body, because the journey that I took was not astral, it was not etheric. It was actually all of me that animates this body into being. All of my essence came out. So they needed to maintain the integrity of my body while I took this journey. Mm. And so I left with what I would call the I am, the soul, all of me came out, and I took this journey up through the dimensions of the universe. And it was absolutely incredible to see dimensional paradigms just shrinking down into a tiny vortex of light. I mean, you take billions of galaxies, and as you're moving up through the layers of the universe, you just see an enormous cosmos full of billions and billions of galaxies just shrinking down into a tiny vortex of light. And you're seeing it from a higher level. And as you go up and up and up, and then I got to the point where I got to the outside, to the edge of this universe. And this universe is a being. It's what we call God, the creator of this universe. And I had a wonderful exchange with this consciousness that is the creator of this universe. And we were looking beyond it out into what I call the omniverse, because universe is one verse. So it's one expression of creation. And so out there was countless other universes. And what I'd rediscovered, because this knowing is inside all of us, we've just forgotten it, is that all of those multitudes of universes out there are all aspects of each of those are inside this universe. And so all of you, every single person here on planet Earth and that exists inside this universe, has their own universe out there. And we are all gods in our own right, and we're equal with the God of this universe. And what we do is, as universes, each one is its own expression. And this universe, the expression of this one is light. That's its construct. All these other universes have different constructs, which I cannot, from inside this universe, perceive these other constructs. It was amazing. And and we contemplated life beyond, like how far does it go? And the God, the being that is the creator of this universe, will be the first to tell you that you exist beyond this being, that you are greater than this aspect of this being that we call God. And we are infinite. We always have been. We always will be. We've never been born out of anything. We've just always existed. And our existence is absolutely eternal and infinite. Just amazing.